everybody. Wade Watches here coming at you with another just standard movie review. I'm Wade, and today I'm going to be reviewing Napoleon 2023, directed by Ridley Scott and starring Joaquin Phoenix and Vanessa Kirby. And I saw this movie a couple of days ago on Sunday, and upon reflection, firstly, if you may or may not have noticed, I don't know if you're new to my channel or not, but if you aren't new to my channel and you have been following me for a minute, you know that every now and then, and most definitely lately, I post out of theater reactions. But for Napoleon, I really didn't deem it necessary to post an out of theater reaction in on top of a full review because honestly, surprisingly, there's not much to say about Napoleon. I doubt I'll even hit my usual 10-minute mark with this review, just because for the latest Ridley Scott epic or historical epic, it's very flat. That's the best way I can describe it. And that is rather a disappointment because some of my all-time favorite Ridley Scott movies, like my overall favorite movies of his, are Gladiator and American Gangster, hands down. And so naturally, when I found out he was making a Napoleon movie, and even when they released the first photos of Joaquin Phoenix in full Napoleon garb, I was very excited. You know, I was like, wow, yeah, he's gonna do such a great job with it. He did a great job, such a great job with Gladiator and American Gangster, but not. Napoleon's definitely not on the same level as those movies. Now, it's not without its good moments, and it's not without its positives. Is what I'm trying to say. I didn't completely hate everything about this movie and I found it completely useless. No, 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 no. It has some positives. Firstly, as is tradition with any Ridley Scott film, it looks fantastic. I love the look of this movie. I love the set pieces. I love the period piece look. I love the costume design. All of that was spot on, top notch stuff. Secondly, when they were on screen together when they were on screen, Joaquin Phoenix and Vanessa Kirby had a great chemistry. Those are easily the best parts of the movie. Whenever those two are together as husband and wife, you know, Vanessa Kirby plays Josephine Bonaparte, and you know, Joaquin Phoenix of course plays Napoleon. I love those scenes with them together. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of toying with one another, manipulating one another, and that was delightful to see. But those scenes are frankly far and few in between, but they're good when they occur. They're good when they're happening. Other than that, really, this is just a flat movie. This really feels like, I don't know whom Ridley Scott consulted for making this movie. He obviously had to have consulted some, you know, historians or historical sources, but this feels like it was made by just like the highest budgeted after school history special ever, just a big budget history lesson, because it's so preoccupied with hitting this point in Napoleon's life, highlighting this point in Napoleon's life, this battle he did, the other battle he did, when he did this, when he did that, that it forgets to tell a compelling story about the man himself. If I wanted just a play-by-play of Napoleon's life, I would have just stayed home and watched a history documentary. There are countless documentaries on the guy. Obviously, he's one of the most recognizable historical figures, one of the most recognizable generals slash kings in the history of the world. So I was very let down to find out that this movie was nothing more than just like a bullet point recap of Napoleon Bonaparte's life. It constantly, from like scene to scene, it constantly like jumps forward a few years. There's constant time gaps and, you know, captions being thrown at you like, oh, now we're here, now we're at this battle, now we're there. And that's pretty much the whole movie. The movie never slows down to tell a compelling story, to give any sense, whether fictional or non-fictional, of who this guy was. Lie your ass off, Ridley Scott. Lie your ass off about Napoleon Bonaparte. I could not care less. I'm sure you know, There are tons of lies and definitely Gladiator. That's not how any of that went down with Marcus Aurelius or Commodus. And I'm sure in American Gangster, a lot of that stuff didn't go down with Frank Lewis. Lucas, excuse me. But lie your ass off about Napoleon Bonaparte. I couldn't care less, but tell an entertaining and compelling story. And I just felt like this movie overall, apart from looking really good and also having some kick-ass battle sequences and having the Phoenix and Kirby having great chemistry when they're on screen together. Apart from all of that, I really felt like there was no reason for Ridley Scott to make a Napoleon movie if he was just going to give a blow by blow of the guy, just a generic, typical blow by blow of the most iconic moments of this guy's life. You could watch any given documentary and see that, but this just happens to be, an obviously fictionalized, larger budgeted version of that made for the silver screens, and it just didn't work for me. When they're not on screen together, Phoenix and Kirby don't really stand out. They just do what they're given. And Joaquin Phoenix in particular in this role, he is mostly emotional when it comes to stuff in his wife, but everything else, he's just playing it very stoically, very stolid. This one note, power hungry cliche. Like I want to conquer everything. And I don't know jack shit about how the real Napoleon Bonaparte was. For all I know, he could have been like that. He could have just been this stoic, reserved military man who craved power, nothing more. But I'm sorry, when you're making semi-fictionalized movies, you can take the liberties to give me something. I don't mind seeing wooden or reserved characters, but give me something with them. Give me a reason to care about them, even if they are reserved, reserved emotionally, because people like that in real life are like that. So I don't mind that, but give me something to care about this guy. Give me something to give a shit about being on this journey with this guy. And this movie doesn't really do a good job with that. So wrapping it up, I gotta give Napoleon 2023 a 5 out of 10. The chemistry between Phoenix and Kirby pretty much is the emotional core of this movie when they're on screen together. Some of the battle sequences look pretty badass and are well shot. The cinematography is spot on. You really do feel like you're in late 18th century to early 19th century France. But other than that, I wouldn't say it's worth rushing out to skip this movie. If you're looking for a historical epic to watch in theaters, check out Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon if you haven't already, or see it again like I want to, because that's the reason I haven't reviewed that movie, because I want to watch it a second time. So I just might be late on reviewing that. But yeah, for Napoleon, 5 out of 10. This has been another edition of Wade Watches, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.